hello everybody, and thank you for coming. You can tell this is a popular topic by the crowd that we have here today, and because we're going through a real renaissance in our city right now. We've got a lot of momentum going on in Louisville. In the last 5 years, we've seen a lot of different growth in a lot of different areas. On the job front, we've seen 55,000 new jobs. We've seen 2,500 new businesses. We've welcomed billions of dollars in new investment into the community, with a lot more coming as well. And so throughout the community, we're seeing new projects not only being planned, but a lot of them being executed as well. And these are some very large, multi-hundred-million-dollar projects to boutique type of projects. So you can take a look at the shotgun homes, to the construction of the Omni and other buildings that will revise our skyline. And you can definitely say our city's built environment is definitely evolving. And we have to keep pushing for more responsible development as well, because as that happens, our city becomes more livable, equitable, attractive, connected, and sustainable for every person, whether you're a newborn here in our community or you're a century-old person in our community. And so that is why today I would like to announce that my administration, and specifically our Develop Louisville team, is beginning the process to update our comprehensive plan. A comprehensive plan is a 20-year outline that guides the future growth of our community. It serves as the basis for public and private investment, as well as land development, transportation, and community facility policies. Now, our current plan, everybody's aware of that, known as Cornerstone 2020, was adopted in the year 2000, and at the time it was visionary. It recognized the importance of neighborhood identity and community form, bringing Louisville to the forefront of land use planning as one of the first cities in the nation to implement form districts on a community-wide basis. And Cornerstone 2020 has served our city very well, and I'm deeply grateful to the hundreds, if not thousands, of dedicated citizens and public servants who created Cornerstone 2020. So now it's time to look to the future and build upon the solid foundation that Cornerstone 2020 has provided for us. So as we begin this process of planning the growth, the next stages for our community, we're informed by a lot of recent planning initiatives that we wanted to get in place, so we had that foundation. So these plans include Vision Louisville, Move Louisville, Healthy Louisville 2020, and Sustain Louisville. Through these community engagement efforts, some common themes emerged. Authenticity of our place. We don't want to be anywhere USA. We want people to have a distinctly Louisville experience when they come here. Other themes were health. How can we be a healthier city? How can we be a more sustainable city, both within the local, state, national, and international context? And then equity. How can we be a city where you're born does not dictate your future? And then, of course, connectivity is a big theme in all these plans, as well as how do we move throughout our community in a way that provides efficiency and opportunity to everybody. So these are some of the themes that citizens have told us what's important to the future of our community, and these will serve as the guiding principles of our comprehensive plan update. Now, to facilitate the process of updating the comprehensive plan, and this is an enormous undertaking, we formed an advisory committee consisting of representatives of neighborhoods and community organizations, development interest, business interest, environmental advocates, and public agencies, partners, and stakeholders. The advisory committee will be seeking input through these groups. All these meetings will be open to the public, and they'll be organized around the guiding principles that I just mentioned. So it's anticipated that the advisory committee and work groups will complete their work on the comprehensive plan update over the next year, and then we will begin the formal adoption process. The inaugural meeting of the advisory committee will be tonight at 6 o'clock at the Edison Center. We invite everybody to come. There will be many more meetings and many ways for citizens to get involved throughout this next year. And so you can find information on the comprehensive plan at louisvilleky.gov. So now I'd like to bring up Louisville Forward Chief Mary Ellen Wiederwall. She'll introduce the co-chairs of the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, Kathy Dykstra and Cliff Ashburner. And I'd like to thank Kathy and Cliff for stepping up for this responsibility. Sometimes, you know, when you're asked to help as a citizen, it's a small assignment, you know, maybe a couple hours or an hour a month for a couple years. This is not a small assignment. This is going to be a dedication of quite a bit of time and dedication to planning and land use. So it required some folks that had the knowledge in this area, but then also the dedication to being great citizens as well, that we're going to put forth this type of effort on behalf of the community. So a personal thank you to Kathy and Cliff in advance for taking these roles. So now let's hear from Mary Ellen Wiederwall. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Mayor. And I'll start by thanking all of the folks who have stepped forward to be a part of this process today. Behind me are several of those advisory committee members, representatives of their fields, experts in their fields, as well as leaders of their organizations and leaders in this city. And so when you put together an advisory committee for a comprehensive plan, you need those experts and you need proven leaders. And then you need leaders to lead those leaders. So we were looking for some field generals, our citizen soldiers who were proven on that field. We could think of no better people than Kathy Dykstra and Cliff Ashburner. Kathy and Cliff are both those proven field generals, citizen soldiers of our community. They were right there with us in the trenches as we put together the Vision Louisville plan, which forms the primary foundation for our steps forward on the comprehensive plan. Kathy, as many of you know, leads Family Scholar House and took it from a very small organization that helped a few women every year to the amazing organization that you know today that helps hundreds of families each year and will, over time, have an exponential benefit to our community. Her title of Chief Possibility Officer could not be more perfect. In addition to that more than full-time role at Family Scholar House, she led the living team of our Vision Louisville process. And if you ever wonder how we got 80,000 people to comment on a visioning process, ask Kathy. She and other members of the team, including Cliff, worked to ensure that we engaged all ages of citizens in Louisville. And that's how we got 80,000 input. She made sure that those who will be our age in 2040, the lifetime of this plan, were inputting into that process, and I'm sure she will bring that gift to us again. And her co-chair, in Cliff Ashburner, of course, is a local attorney who has also distinguished himself in many community roles, including as leading the energy team in the Vision Louisville process. He is an expert in green building and has brought forward prior changes to our land development code related to sustainable building. So his leadership on the Vision Louisville team, together with Kathy's, make them a great pairing for this effort, and I want to welcome them to the podium to share some of their vision for our next steps. And thank you on behalf of Louisville Metro.
Thank you, Mayor Fischer, and thank you, Mary Ellen, and good morning, everyone. As we think about and prepare for how our community will grow over the next 20+ years, we have an opportunity to update our comprehensive plan in ways that build upon our strengths, maintain our uniqueness, and create a strategy for a healthy, diverse, inclusive, and vibrant Louisville community of the future. Cliff and I appreciate everyone who is committed to participate on the advisory committee, and we hope that many others from all areas of our community will share their input through the work groups. This is our community, and our input is integral to a robust plan for strategic growth. Through my work at Family Scholar House, I see families and youth set and achieve goals in education and careers to become self-sufficient, active citizens. They are proud to call Louisville home and value the opportunity to live, work, and contribute in our community. Because of this, I believe that the participation of young professionals and youth will be meaningful to this project. While I hope to be around in 2040 to see these plans come to full fruition, it is our youth and young professionals, our next generation of leaders, who will be in charge. Their investment in the future of our community begins with their inclusion in this important project. Together, we can shape the plan that will serve our current and future generations and welcome new people to our special city. a plan that will embrace the things that make us unique and authentically Louisville, while also supporting innovation and growth and development. I, for one, am eager to get started. And now, Cliff.
I would also like to thank the mayor, thank Mary Ellen, and thank Kathy. I just hang out with Kathy. That's what I do. As Mary Ellen said, I'm a land use lawyer. I'm with Dinsmore and Scholl, and have been practicing about the same amount of time as Cornerstone 2020 has been in place. I personally am looking forward to replacing my coffee-stained, dog-eared copy of Cornerstone 2020 with something new and something that I had a hand in writing. So I'm very eager to get started. As Kathy and Mary Ellen touched on, the Vision Louisville plan, Sustain Louisville, Move Louisville, all of these things are going to feed Cornerstone, not Cornerstone 2020, feed the new plan. And being part of the Vision Louisville process was very gratifying. It was wonderful to see the passion that ordinary citizens had about Louisville, the ideas that they threw out. It was just a wonderful experience, and I look forward to continuing that experience. The land use process, as a practitioner, as somebody who represents, developers and property owners, can be sometimes a little bumpy, but I think our process really pushes people toward consensus and encourages public participation. I hope that this process with the work groups and the advisory committee and everyone else who will get involved will also push us toward consensus. And I think that we will come up with a very good product. The last thing that I would like to say is I am committed, Mayor, for 1 year. And so I'm going to work very hard to bring this plan back to you and to the legislative bodies that are going to adopt it in a year. So let's get to work.
Well, thanks again to Cliff and Kathy on this. Really appreciate your all's commitment to Louisville's future. So obviously what this plan is intended to do is improve the quality of our place. A lot of things have changed over the last 20 years. We're a lot smarter locally. We're a lot smarter, hopefully, nationally and internationally as well. People desire to live differently. And so any city that's prospering is going to have a variety of ways for people to live and move around the community. It's also very important that a community be a place where people have the opportunity to flourish and thrive regardless of the life situation that you were born into. And the unfortunate reality of many of our cities around the world, and especially also in our country as well, that too often the place where you were born determines your destiny. And that's not any condition that's acceptable for any city that has the type of aspirations and goals that we have. So I'd like to now introduce Dr. Brandy Kelly Pryor. She is the director of our Center for Health Equity, and she'll tell us how this plan aligns with her team's work in ensuring that social conditions into which we're born, live, work, and play don't unfairly affect our well-being and longevity. So please welcome Dr. Kelly Pryor.
Good morning, and thank you, Mayor Fischer, and thank you, Mary Ellen, for your leadership on this 20-year plan that is coming to fruition. And Kathy and Cliff, I'm excited to be working with you over the next year as a part of the advisory committee. So I am delighted to speak with you all today about our city going forward with this 20-year plan and involving citizens from all corners and all streets and all zip codes in our city in the planning process. We know that where you live, learn, work, play, and the transportation you use to get there is critically important to your quality and your quantity of life. And so as the CHE director, the Center for Health Equity, through the division of the Louisville Metro Public Health and Wellness, we know that your life outcomes should not be determined, as Mayor Fischer has said, by where you're born, nor where you live, work, or play. And so in our 10th year anniversary of the Center for Health Equity, we are really having a strong focus on some of the structural and historical barriers that have caused inequities in our city. Over the last 6 years, we have put out a health equity report that shows some of the differences in our city as it relates to land use, as it relates to transportation, as it relates to wealth building. And we know that those are the roots of historical inequities as well as the roots of our health outcomes for the future. I love to hear, as Kathy has mentioned, that we are honoring all of our citizens' voices in this process, because 20 years from now, those who are standing in this place will be the vision of young people who are currently in school now. And so we want to make sure that we are involving all of their voices in all aspects of what we are doing now in the Center for Health Equity as well as in the future. One of the ways in which we are doing that, involving all of the unique voices of our citizens and our residents here in Louisville, is through My Dream for Lou. My Dream for Lou will be taking place on Thursday, October 6th through Saturday, October 8th, and it is an opportunity for all citizens to come together and share their dreams and their visions for how to make this city a more equitable city for all, a more inclusive and fair city through their vision of hopes and dreams for Louisville. We know that during this time, we will have an opportunity for citizens to set that community agenda, that social agenda for the city that we want to be able to work on, not only as the Center for Health Equity, but also for Louisville Metro government, and to include in this comprehensive plan for the next 20 years. So recognizing that each community member and each resident is an expert of their own experience, we know we need to engage and involve community members at every part of the process. That is what Center for Health Equity has been doing for the past 10 years, and that is what we hope to continue to do as we are part of this process through the city and as we go throughout other equitable spaces in Louisville Metro government. So we encourage participation from all of you all and everyone that you know to participate in My Dream for Lou. The event is absolutely free. If you are interested in participating or setting that social agenda for change, please email us at healthequity@louisvilleky.gov, or you can also call us at 574-6616. Every resident, regardless of the neighborhood they live in, deserves an opportunity to live a healthy life and to have a quantity and a quality of life in a healthy place that they can call home. That's equity. Thank you, and we're glad to be a part of this process.
Thank you so much. And now I'd like to note that there are a lot of people that spent thousands of hours, or who will be spending thousands of hours over the next year to update the plan, including the folks that you've heard from here today. And then we have a lot of people in this room who have made tremendous contributions already to the growth of our city. And there are thousands of people beyond this room who have also contributed to past plans, current plans, and I'm sure future plans as well. So these are citizens, neighbors, volunteers, community advocates who live and work to make their communities uniquely Louisville. And it's kind of this process that we go through that results in this uniqueness. Sometimes it's very smooth, sometimes it's a little fractious, but that's all part of the process, and it's an important part of the process. So we want to create this plan and this process in conversation with partnership with our citizens, so I hope we can have that kind of robust dialogue and interaction once again. So we want to make sure we have all the tools out there to do that. One example of that in our community right now is LMPD is partnering with an online app called Nextdoor to reach people better for public safety. So it's really increased the amount of voices we have coming in to talk about neighborhood issues, let the police communicate with specific neighborhoods, etc., and that's been a really great advancement for us. So Develop Louisville has a similar analog. We'll be partnering with My Sidewalk. So My Sidewalk is an online application that empowers citizens with data analysis tools so they can make decisions about the future of their neighborhood. The program will also allow Metro government staff to communicate with citizens and and each other about specific topics or questions. So we can go out to citizens, or citizens can communicate between each other in between the meetings or after the meetings. And so obviously we want to hear from citizens in every neighborhood, so we want to provide lots of tools. I mean, in-person meetings, but also online 24/7 tools. So I invite every Metro Council member, community organization, neighborhood association, faith group, nonprofit agency, business association, book clubs, youth groups, or any other group to come to our meetings and invite us to your meeting. So we want to meet you where you're meeting so that we can be sure to reach as many people as we can. And remember, people always talk about, you know, thank you for putting money into this, or thank you for doing that. We are fiduciaries for the citizens' money, and we just happen to be in positions where we are representing them. So everybody should feel ownership in this plan, and we want to plan a city of the future that lines up with our goal of compassion, and that means respect for each and every one of our citizens so that their full human potential is flourishing. And the work of this land plan is going to be a really important part of that. Joe Reverman, who's our Assistant Director of Planning and Design Services, will show a little bit of my sidewalk.
The first thing we wanted to mention is that we do have a comprehensive plan webpage on our LouisvilleKY.gov page. So this is kind of the clearinghouse page for everything comprehensive plan related. So we'll have a link to the My Sidewalk page, which is basically a discussion forum that we want to engage the public with. So this is the My Sidewalk public forum page that we will host discussions. So that's the most important thing that we want to use My Sidewalk for, is to meet citizens where they expect to be met, which is on their mobile devices, wherever they are. We also want to give them the opportunity to comment on discussions at any time, 24/7. So one of the important things that My Sidewalk provides us is data analysis so that we can make informed decisions. So when we have these discussions, we can also have maps and data that you can see here that provide data to the citizens. It allows us to communicate with the citizens through data and give them the data to make informed decisions themselves.